So in terms of being a poet, what are your plans for the future?
In terms of being a poet, my plans, well, first of all, I'm releasing an EP
Yeah.
in March 2014. So 2014 is definitely looking to be a big year.
So what's that going to be called?
Sorry?
What's the EP going to be called?
EP is going to be called My Mind Meets My Heart.
Yeah.
It's whereby, I'm at a time where, the time is now.
Yeah.
My heart's not going one way, my brain's not going another way. My brain and my heart are fused together.
Yeah.
And I understand myself and I know where I'm going to go with poetry. So that EP is coming out soon, man, so stay tuned.
The only thing that is constant is change. It will not stop nor cease, to say the least. It's an unstoppable force on an endless course, ready to continue, ready to change, ready to remain constant.
Yeah.
So what direction do you think poetry can go in?
Poetry can go in a lot of avenues. There's so many things I want poetry to go into. Like, first of all, I want us to collaborate more with each other.
Yeah.
I feel like we're at a place whereby, we're talking, we're speaking, we're promoting, but I feel the need that we
Not
need
too
to
many collaborations.
Sorry?
Not too many collaborations.
I don't feel there's personally too many collaborations. It's
Yeah.
beginning, like, let's not get twisted, but I mean, it's happening, but it needs to happen a bit more.
Yeah.
We're in a stage whereby we shouldn't be scared of sharing our ideas. We should be more comfortable with each other. We should start to get to know each other a bit more and then getting our things done, man. Yeah.
So who would you like to collaborate with?
I like to collaborate with a lot of people. Well, for my future projections, I have a few artists, few like underground artists I want to perform with, but in the poetic scene, I want to perform with, George the Poet.
Yeah.
I want to perform with Anthony Anexaguru, Uncle Errol, big up Uncle Errol, Nat Nai, Infinite Entity, Nairobi Thompson, loads of poets from the male and the female perspective, man. So, yeah.
So who inspires you most in terms of poetry?
Who inspires me most in terms of poetry? I'll say the people that are doing it today.
Yeah.
People doing it today, like the people I mentioned, like George the Poet, loads of stuff that he's doing on SBTV, the fact that he got signed to Island Record, I think it is, with
Yeah.
Jessie J and Dizzy Rascal, Anthony Anexaguru, his poems Master's Revenge and What If I Told You, and general like other people, like the first poetry jam that I've been to in a while, where I first performed Change is Constant that you filmed. I liked Uncle Errol's piece, One Drop, that was talking about Stephen Lawrence, and that was very an influential piece and a very influential and political piece that made me understand a lot of things about things that I didn't know about Stephen Lawrence and how the media were portraying it and stuff. So big ups to Uncle Errol for that. In terms of the American scene, shout outs to Russell Simmons,
Yeah.
who created Def Jam poetry as we know it in the early noughties. With the poets that I respect in that regard that I know of are Shy Han,
Yeah.
and what's his name, Gemini, Penny for Your Thoughts.
Yeah.
That's a nice, smooth, melodical, romantic poem where he's touching everyone, man. So that really inspired me.
So how would you describe your style of poetry?
My style of poetry is a lot of my poems are alliteration. So you probably see my poem called Change is Constant or Innovation's Intelligence, and they've got a lot of alliteration that speaks many volumes in itself. So when I'm saying certain words like that, you can reflect on that and have your perspective on a poem as to what I'm about to say, and also I could teach you from my perspective, from my side, as to how I'm going to portray my poem. So yeah, that's my style. I also like to do a bit of punchlines as well, where I like to rearrange old sayings, so when you think back to it, you're like, oh, okay, yeah, that's that old saying. So yeah, that's generally my style, man.
It's hard to accept when things don't go your way. On extreme cases, when a drastic change has occurred, it would have been preferred for life to remain the same, you and I, just like the good old days, where it wasn't perfect, but it was good, nevertheless. Far more than you might see yourself now, and some people wonder how changing was what them.
So what's it like performing? When you go on that stage, how do you feel?
feel happy.
Yeah.
I feel blessed. I feel privileged. I feel it's an absolute honor, because the fact that I'm on stage, it means that I'm ready to show people as to who I'm about. I'm ready to show people that I can teach them. The thing about me is, when I do my poems, when I perform my poems, I like to teach people certain things. I like people to understand and interpret how you will of how I perform my performance. And when I look at other poets as well, that's the key thing that I look at is what can they teach me? What can I learn from them? What can they inspire me to do? So that's what I tend to look at for other poets as well.
So if you could teach the world anything through your poetry, what would it be?
You can do it. Simple as. Anything that you set your mind to, or if you're at a journey whereby you don't know what you're doing, keep trying. There's always ways and means of doing things and following your passion. I would say follow your heart. Make sure that your heart and your mind's at one. That's why I got my poem entitled "My Mind Meets My Heart," and you'll see on my EP, it's got one of my poems entitled "My Mind Meets My Heart," and it's all about a journey whereby I've done things where, I've thought about things rationally, but my heart wasn't in it. Your day-to-day jobs, it wasn't in it. Or I've done things with my heart, like I'm doing with my poetry, but I was at a stage whereby I was thinking rationally. I was like, raw, I need to get the money, I need to get the P. How am I going to pay the bills? How am I going to do this? How am I going to do that? To me now, all that is irrelevant. My heart and my mind is all into one. And I'm doing this, poetry is my life, it's my blood, it's my daily bread, it's what I drink, Poetry is my teacher, It teaches me so many things that I didn't know I could even do. When I write certain things, I'm like, wow, like how the hell did I write that? You know what I mean? So my advice would be to just do it. Do things, don't be scared. That's one thing I would say about people, is that they're scared of doing things. I'm not saying have no fear and be a fearless, heartless person, but go out there and do things that you've never done before. Try it, you never know. You might like it, you might not like it. Because my journey, I'll tell you a little bit about my journey. When I tried out a few things with the poetry thing, I thought, okay, let me try it. Like 3 years ago, when I was like 19, I was like, let me just try it. You never know where it could end up. I wrote my first poem entitled "Inner Child" that I will perform, on open mics and stuff like that. But when I wrote it, I was like, wow, like, did I actually write that? Did I actually write that? Let me write more. Okay, so I wrote more. And I was like, wow, okay, I got quite a good collection. Let me try and get it out there. Now I'm at the stage where I'm going to different open mics, I'm doing interviews like this, I'm doing radio interviews, I'm doing EPs, I'm doing other things, to try and benefit myself and the poetic industry in general. So do it, man. Just do it, people. Keep trying. Never give up. Keep pushing, man. And you'll learn at a certain stage. You'll definitely learn at a certain stage that, there's something out there for you.